So I'm a huge fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. It's a series that's been going on since like the 80s. And so like there's a lot of characters in there. There's a lot of characters in there with lots of very unique designs. And I wanted to talk about how their designs reflect their personality. And yeah, um, I'm really nervous about this because it's my first time doing this. So so in this essay, we're going to be talking about four stand users in the series whose stand designs reflect their personality, their habits, their desires, and how their designs overall affect that as well. So before we start, let's start with a little bit of like context. So there there are nine parts in the series, and it was until part three where they started introducing the concept of stands. Now, a stand is, according to the manga, is a physical manifestation of the user's fighting spirit. But if you don't understand what that means, pretty much it's like a physical manifestation of the user's conscience, like their subconscious. Like who they are as a person is physically reflected into what is now their stand. And so not only is their design, but also their powers. And so the first person I'd like to talk about is a user named Fugo and his stand Purple Haze. So Fugo is a character in part five who's part of an Italian gang called Passion, and pretty much his stand. Well, before we get into that, let's talk about what he is as a character. So back in the day, he was a child prodigy. Like he was very good. He was very smart. He went into a private school. He got excellent grades until there was a point where one of the like the teachers, or was it the principal? I forgot. Um, they started like sexually harassing him, and so it went to a point where Fugo started to develop this like a lot of anger because he didn't like being touched like that. So it built up until he decided to like beat the shit out of the teacher, and he got expelled from the school because of that. And in turn was also abandoned by his family, who were also very rich. In general, he was like a very rich person, but because of his anger issues, it was like all thrown out. And it led to him joining a gang just so he could find some use. But Fugo, like besides all that anger, he's like a very chill person. He tries to not get angry because he's afraid of his stand coming out, which is his stand Purple Haze. Purple Haze is a stand that's able to release these viruses or like these pathogens that tear apart the flesh of anyone like nearby in like 30 seconds. So it just kills anything in range. And visually, the stand looks like he's about to crash out. Like he is very visibly angry. And I think that very much reflects Fugo's like anger problems. Like he's afraid to like let his anger out because he might hurt people he cares about. Because especially since he's not able to control who the virus goes to. So if it touches a friend, they're dead. And so that's why Fugo's afraid of letting it out. And before we continue, I'd like to note, like you might be, I don't know, Professor, if you're like a big music nerd, but the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Hirohiko Araki, he was, well, he still is, like a music head. Like he really likes music, especially more specifically music in the West. So a lot of these stand names, um, are they come from music albums, singles, and just like musical artists from like the 80s and 90s and maybe like 2000s. So you might hear some familiar people like, Purple Haze. It's based on the song Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. But I think I'm repeating myself here, but pretty much Purple Haze is a very good example of how the stand reflects the user's personality, as we see with him like Purple Haze being nothing but anger. Like he's always angry. Like he's ready to just kill someone. And Fugo is afraid of letting that anger out, just like in real life. Like once you're like in a blind rage, you don't know you can't control yourself. Like you might hurt someone you love. And in part five, there was a point where the gang had to like split up, and the only person that didn't want to come with them was Fugo because he was mostly afraid of not only hurting his friends, but he didn't want to get involved in the situation everyone was dealing with. So yeah. So the next stand user is the boss of the gang, Diavolo, and his stand is King Crimson. He has an alter ego named Doppio, which in Italian translates to double, because he's like a very severe case of schizophrenia to the point where like whenever he switches alter egos, like his physique like changes a lot. And so his stand, King Crimson, in order to keep his identity a secret, King Crimson's power is to basically erase like 5 to 10 seconds of the future, and that's it. If it's kind of hard to explain, but think of it like you're editing a video, and you pick a specific spot in a video and you just get rid of it. So once you play the video, there's like a weird gap that just got deleted. That's what King Crimson is. Anything that happens in that time frame is does not exist for the target. It only exists for Diavolo because he's the one that did it. Also, I don't think it's really that relevant, but Doppio kind of has a stand. His is called Epitaph, but it's literally just the second face on King Crimson's head. It's like in a way Diavolo is like sharing part of his stand to Doppio. Epitaph is able to like see through the future. It's literally the same thing except he can't like delete that part of the future. He can only see what's about to happen. Visually, King Crimson has two faces, with King Crimson obviously and Epitaph. The power is supposed to satisfy the need of keeping his identity a secret by erasing that point in time. So if he needs to get rid of someone, he can do that, but the person won't see how they died. So think of it like you see the boss, and all of a sudden you just have a big hole in your chest. That's him erasing time. And at the same time, he's also just gone. So you have no idea how you died. But he knows how he killed you. Like he just he shoved his big fist in your stomach, bro. That's usually how he tries to like keep his identity. So the next person is a guy named Kira Yoshikage. He is a resident in a small local town in Japan, and he's a serial killer with a really weird fetish for hands. And if you can see from the image, he looks very similar to David Bowie because that's what his design is inspired from. He's inspired by David Bowie. Yeah. So Kira, what he wants is he says this a lot. He wants a quiet life. He wants to live in peace, do what he wants, do all that. Like he just wants like a normal, peaceful life. But at the same time, he wants to like get hands and stuff. Like if anyone tries to disturb that peace, he will kill them like right off the bat. And so the best way to reflect that desire is Killer Queen, a stand who visually looks like a cat with a human body. And cats, they are known for like being very lazy. They like to relax, they want a quiet life, all that. But the ability is he is able to touch people and turn them into bombs. And at any time he wants, he can detonate it with his right hand, like a detonator, and they will just blow up, leaving no trace behind at all. So that's how he's able to get away with murder, pretty much. However, throughout the story, he's been caught, and almost killed. So he decides, well, not decides, he begins to develop two new abilities, with one of them happening very soon and the other one happening like in the end of part four. So the second ability is called Sheer Heart Attack. And what it does is it automatically seeks the target by heat signature. So once it finds the target, it'll just go up to them and blow up. This is how Kira can just kill people from a distance, since this ability is an autonomous. I I'm messing up. It's an autonomous stand, so he doesn't have to physically be there for to kill them. He could just sit at home, like relax, drink some Don Julio or something, and that stand will just take care of business. And the best part, it can't be broken. It is purely indestructible. The only way it'll disappear is if it kills its target. The final ability is Bites the Dust. Pretty much what it does is Kira plants a mini Killer Queen onto his victim, and the victim can just walk around like normal days, like they go day to day until they find someone. And if that someone knows Kira's identity, that's when the Killer Queen activates and blows them up. And in turn, it also just rewinds time to 1 hour. It rewinds time 1 hour back, as if nothing happened. And this could happen for as long as Kira wants. But the thing is, he doesn't know it's happening. So the only way he's able to figure out if someone is dying from his ability is if he just gets some context clues about the victim he put Killer Queen on. Like, are they like stressing out because they saw someone die or something? It's kind of confusing for me to explain this because I suck at explaining stuff, but yeah, it's a very useful ability. But unfortunately, he doesn't succeed and ends up getting killed. In fact, he just gets run over by an ambulance. And all of this is just so Kira's identity can be kept secret. He can live in the town peacefully with no distractions, no one to like threaten him. Like he just has that ability to just wipe anyone from the face of existence the moment they catch on what he's doing. And so I feel like that. And on top of Killer Queen being portrayed as this humanoid cat, like it's very muscular and scary, but at the same time the cat represents relaxation. I think that perfectly encapsulates like Kira's desires and personality of wanting a quiet life. The final stand user I want to talk about is Anasui and his stand Diver Down. Now, Anasui, he's a character that's part of a group of prison escapees from Part 6 with the purpose of stopping this priest named Enrico Pucci. So, Anasui is a character who is like insanely obsessed with the main protagonist of that part, Jolene. Like there's been times where he's been trying to flirt with her and trying to flirt with her and trying to ask her father for his blessing, even though those two literally just met. Like it was love on first sight. His stand Diver Down's ability is he's able to phase through anything, like including organic material like people and animals, and he can interact with those insides by either moving it around or just taking it out. He could just like take things apart from the inside if he so choose, which he has a very bad habit of since he was a kid. He like it was at a point where he was considered to be sent to like a psych ward because of this habit, and it still stuck with him because one time he had an ex who cheated on him. So what he did is that he found the ex and the guy he was going with, and he took them both apart so they wouldn't be seeing each other again, and thereby killing them. So he was sent to court and was sentenced to first-degree murder for 12 years, despite him being perfectly sane. And and yeah, visually the stand looks like a diver, because that's what it does. It dives down. And another ability it also has, well, we already talked about him diving to other objects, but he can use that ability to dive into other people to as a way of armor. So if they take a lethal blow, that blow will go straight to diver down instead. But in turn, that would also harm Anasui because he's the user of that stand. Because if pain on the stand, because the pain on the stand reflects on the user, because that's literally their subconscious. So this also reflects Anasui's selfless side, because he's very selfless at times. But he's mostly selfless towards Jolene for obvious reasons. But besides that, it's he's willing to take a blow for his teammates. So to end this video, I'd like to basically say like these stand users, like they're all different. They all have different origins, all different reasons, personalities, all that. And despite that, these stands, I feel they perfectly reflect who they are as a character and who they are as like in terms of what they desire and visually too, in both literal and symbolical in a sense, with Killer Queen kind of being a symbolism with the cat of relaxation, and Diver Down being a literal definition of like his personality, like he likes to dig down and take stuff apart from the inside. So, yeah, that's my video. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.